We can never get enough of the classic enemies to lovers pipeline, but there's more soon to come with Bridgerton's third season. Netflix's most popular period drama, Bridgerton, is based on the books by Julia Quinn of the same title. Centering around a group of strong and ambitious women of solid convictions, it's not a shock why people are raving about it. Before we dive into the tea, let's refresh our memory. First off, Simone Ashley hints at the new season's premise. Playing the regal Kate Sharma, Simone Ashley reveals there's more to the uptight and toughened-out older sister than what meets the eye.
We watched Bridgerton season 1 over the weekend. I wonder what's happening in season 2 and...
As she steps into the new role of the viscountess in the upcoming season, the new challenges of this role will bring out a new side to Kate Sharma that will be far more vulnerable than we remember.
Is that what that was? A race?
Was it not?
Does one not need actual competition for a race?
You see her insecurities and fears, she said. She's nervous, and I think there's strength in admitting that. Perhaps we'll see once more that there's more to a marriage than just love keeping it together.
Thank you, Lord.
Bridgerton.
With Daphne and Simon in the first season, we saw how much a lack of trust and transparency almost ruined them. And we can't imagine the kind of issues a pairing of two strong-headed, stubborn, and passionate characters like Kate and Anthony will deliver. While each season features a new couple as the main focus, there's a promise that Kate and Anthony will get plenty of screen time. So buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Then again, who doesn't love a little angst followed by comfort, right? Coming up, when Charlotte met George. Toward the end of September, Netflix dropped a sneak peek into what started the high society Bridgerton lives in the encounter of King George and soon-to-be Queen Charlotte. Was it a strategic move? Because it had people buzzing once again for Bridgerton Season 3 release, and that too to full capacity.
Are you in need of assistance of some kind?
I am quite fine, thank you. You can go back inside and wait with all the other gawkers.
While the preview was just in time, it did more than make us clear out our schedules for a binge watch. We have questions, possibly about a look into the past. Queen Charlotte is a noticeably important character and a very eccentric one. The story makes a point of her being the reason for racial equality in the current high society. And that premise itself is so interesting that we're not sure how long we will have to wait to see it. Audiences devoured the first 2 seasons, and there's always a lot of pressure to ensure they won't be disappointed with the next big reveal. There's so much we're looking forward to, and we're sure the new season will be spectacular. Next up, everything else we know about season 3 so far. From what we gather so far, the production of Bridgerton's third season is still underway, and will hopefully be wrapping up in December this year. This means we can expect the release around early 2023 on all streaming platforms. Although the main question that people have is this: will the season live up to its steamy reputation? The first 2 seasons didn't hold back on the full-fledged display of intimacy, and it was great because it made sense. The writers of Bridgerton are incredibly talented in setting up the chemistry for their characters in the face of all the odds that come their way. The breadth of emotions each season tackles so unapologetically ties in so well with the chaos of romance and the passions that lead up to it. Despite the criticisms and hefty praise the show has received in the past for its outright sexual depictions, the direction of the Bridgerton series has been undoubtedly set in its plan regarding the books they are adapted from. Now, a peek into what season 3 holds. The way seasons 1 and 2 ended had us all in a chokehold. Most were surprised, some called it, and for even fewer, it was an absolute no-brainer. Penelope was Lady Whistledown. It was funny how it took Eloise so long to figure it out despite being her best friend. Boy, did Penelope stir up a lot of drama for us all. It's safe to say that she's certainly become the grand master of high society's social sphere, and she has no idea how big of a responsibility she's taken on. Of course, she was still a young girl who only recently debuted into high society, so the naivety checks out. But snitching on people? Girl, you got nothing better to do. You've probably figured out by now what season 3 is about. Yes, it's going to focus on Penelope and Colin. In the last 2 seasons, we saw that their love fate was rather undecided, with Colin's unrequited love for Marina Crane and his ambitious adventures away from home. What we saw of a young and naive boy trying to gain footing in the Bridgerton house's important matters is now replaced with a man wizened with experience beyond his privilege. How will this affect the storyline though? Because there are some things to consider to make his pairing with Penelope work, apart from him flat out announcing to his friends that he would never woo Penelope. Let's look at a possible time jump. Warning, spoilers. If the producers and directors choose to keep the adaptation accurate, then a quick skim is all we need. Penelope and Colin are adults when they get together in the 4th book, and the writers aren't shy about tackling this jump in time. The team for Bridgerton is known for taking on the challenge of giving a good story no matter how long it takes, and we see so much potential for developing Penelope's character outside of a young girl who vies for external validation from the ton. This doesn't mean it'll come without its setbacks. There's a huge risk of maintaining the parasocial relationship that the audience has with Penelope, which is already pretty rocky to begin with. Will there be a reconciliation? Accountability for the lives she's changed for the worse? It'll be interesting to see how the possible romance will fare in the face of losing Eloise's trust and friendship. Claudia Jessie, who plays Eloise, teases the time jump as well. They can't play teenagers forever, she said, which is a valid concern for maintaining a show's popularity, especially the kind that flows through time and visibly changes in the landscape. Coming up, what to expect from Penelope. With how Penelope is written, we can predict that her fate will be far different from the other Bridgerton women we've looked at. While the others have romance as the main subplot, Penelope's story will need to focus on establishing her independence without needing a man to provide it. She'll most probably utilize her popularity as Lady Whistledown and build a sizable wealth for herself, and while the initial impression she's left on the audience may not be the best one, there's a way to turn it around in the form of a redemption arc. This will be the first time in Bridgerton where we see someone embracing the spinster life unashamedly, but there will be plenty of drama surrounding it to explore the hardships of making such a decision. All in all, we think it'll be a fresh change of pace for us all. What's more, Colin's character development. As for Colin, do we remember him? With all his traveling and passion searching, we don't know him well. The most he's probably known for is his relationship with Marina Crane, which was gut-wrenching. Unlike his older brothers, Colin hasn't gotten enough screen time for us to get to know him personally. There isn't much to go on when assessing his maturity level, but in season 2, it was off-putting to see him take a sizable chunk out of his family's fund for an investment without consulting anyone in the family. There's still a lot he has to learn. One thing's for sure, he loves to write. This will play out well in his romance with Penelope as they bond over their shared passion for it. While the two seem to have a great friendship generally, it's difficult to predict what will make Colin see Penelope as a woman he can fall in love with. Finally, what about the others? Of course, we didn't forget about the other Bridgerton siblings, especially Benedict and Eloise. The two have such an adorable sibling bond with each other, something we don't often see in TV shows. Yet we believe they'll each get their seasons in the future. In the previous seasons, we saw Eloise have the most adorable situationship with the gentleman at the print shop, Theo. Sadly, it fell apart before anything could even start. But fans are still pining over a possible reconciliation between the two and for Eloise to finally have a shot at love. Benedict's story is very interesting as he ventures out of his comfort zone to socialize with those who look at love and sexuality differently. There are bound to be a lot of lessons from his life for the audience as well. And that's a wrap. What do you think about the upcoming season? Like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. See you next time!